All right, we are now back with part two of this series. Still kind of moving along with the UI UX inside of FlutterFlow and getting those things pieced together. Before I start, though, just gonna address the elephant in the room real quick. If you've been following my stuff long enough, then you'll know that I am one of those content creators that when and if possible, I will respond to your comments. And if your comments are ridiculous, um, obnoxious, insulting, whatever, then I'll almost always respond sarcastically to you, which has been quite enjoyable throughout my time doing this. I've of course had some people in the past, when I would respond in such a way, say that I'm not going to have any subscribers or my channel's not going to grow if I'm treating people like that. I'll put this out there first and foremost, that I don't do this for fame and fortune. Never have, never will. If you like my content and you follow along and you get with it and you understand it and you dig in, then this is for you. But if you're one of those that wants to like nitpick the videos and complain about my audio not being great, or me not like breaking it down to a first grade level to explain it to you, or if my video is blurry, something like that, then yeah, you're going to get my standardized responses to things like that. So the most recent thing was with tutorial number one. A couple of individuals commented and said that it was blurry, that they were getting like low definition feedback on their vid, or on the playback, and I don't know if you want me to like wave a magic wand and make it better. If you would like for me to come to where you are and, I don't know, breathe on your device and maybe make it faster, or better yet, how would you like if maybe I install like a satellite in the sky? Maybe Elon Musk will loan me some of his satellites, and I can beam my stream directly to your face and make it 1,000 times faster and more beautiful and work perfectly. You know, I'd be happy to do that for you. But not anytime soon. You know, get with me in like 20 years and we can talk about it. But I will say, in a more serious note, if you're getting a low definition, when I uploaded the video, it took 5 hours for it to transcode on YouTube, because it was being put into standard definition, high def, and 4K. And I checked all the versions on my devices, phone as well as my computer, and I'm reasonably blind without glasses, and so I did it without glasses, and it looks fine to me. I could read it, which is saying a lot. So the issue that you're experiencing is either A, you are blind, which is something you should probably look into. I would highly advise going to see a doctor about that. Or more likely, one of two scenarios: either your internet sucks, which that is a reality, believe it or not. Not every internet provider is streaming at 4K. Whether it's your home internet or your mobile internet or whatever, it is entirely possible that your internet is not fast enough to support a higher definition. Or you don't know how to tap on the gear icon that's on YouTube videos and change the definition to a higher def. If you didn't know that, welcome to YouTube. You can click the gear icon and change it. If that option, if anything above like low def is not available to you, then we need to go back to your internet. It's more than likely the problem. And having a foundational baseline and understanding these things is pretty important to building an application, believe it or not, especially when we're going to be dealing with video. and bit rate and things like that. So if your foundationalized understanding of these things is net zero, then you probably shouldn't be building apps. And this tutorial most definitely is not for you. So anyway, I just wanted to address that real quick. And I will always address things that stand out to me as just absolutely 100% absurdity comments posted on my videos. So anyway, if you find what I just said insulting, then this message was likely for you, and you're welcome to go elsewhere. Doesn't hurt me. Not here to make money. I'm not monetizing my videos. I stopped doing that a long time ago. And I'm not here for fame by any means. If I was, I wouldn't take 4 or 5 months to put out a video. All right, so let's get started. So we finished off, I guess, in the Discover section, I believe is where we were last on the last tutorial. So we need to essentially just kind of copy the stuff over into the recommended section, and then we'll make adjustments to that later on whenever we do some back-end stuff. But we just need the user interface to be replicated. So we want to go. Let's see. We've already got a page view. It looks like I already dropped a column in there, which I guess I can just get rid of that. We're just going to drop this in here. So I'm going to grab our stack and copy it. And then go to this page view and paste it. So that should be in there now. We shouldn't have any overlap. So it's going to mess with anything. And this should still be on the front, but let's just make sure, bring it to the front, just make sure it's on top there. But yeah, it looks like it's still set up right, so should be good to go there. Let's go. Well, I don't know if it dropped it in there. I don't think it did. So let's grab that one more time here. And let's actually drop it in the page view. All right, there we go. Well, it's not copying that over for some reason. It's kind of interesting. Okay, maybe that took it. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. So it's still all accessible. Yeah. Okay, that should be right now. So again, we'll just bring this to the front, just to make sure it's front and center up there. All right. So before we move on, I've been thinking about like this icon down here. I wanted to have this fourth icon in here so that our adding a video or a picture button was center. I just put it as friends for the time being, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with it. And I think what we're actually going to end up doing here is setting this up as like a feed, a post feed, text-based post feed type thing, similar to, I guess, Twitter or Facebook or something like that, because I know that was asked about quite a bit in my series of social media tutorials that I posted like almost a year ago, and never finished it out. So we do want to address that, even though I probably wouldn't actually have this in this particular app. We'll still have we'll still do it so that we can address how all that should be set up. Let's see. No. Let's see. Let's do this. There, we'll leave it like that for now, and then whatever. All right. We need to make sure that our queries and everything on the stuff that we just moved over is all the same here. Get rid of that. Let's Let's make sure we're looking at the correct page view. Let's see here. That's our Discover tab. That's the right one. Huh. That's interesting. Did I not drop? That's okay. Discover tab, shrink that up for you. There it is. It's kind of interesting that that doesn't have any queries on it. Weird. Okay, well, let's make sure we're querying so we're not throwing a bunch of errors right now. Which that's going to be confusing since we're having a separate feed, but whatever. We should probably change that. Yeah, we need to change that since we're going to be doing something different here. Actually, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's just duplicate this one. All right, so now we're gonna have to obviously go in here and set all those correctly here. So we need to, that's so weird. Why is it, why is that removed? Could have sworn that I set my, oh yeah, that's right, this is Discover tab up here. Here we go. All right, so let's change this one to video image posts. All that should still be right. And let's make sure our stack is still querying correctly. It looks like it is. Okay. So all of that should be right then. And then this page view, obviously, we also want to query to that same collection. And I do want to set, I can't remember if I did that on the other one or not, but we need that to be set to false. That's the only one there. And then ordered by date and decreasing and infinite scroll. So it should take care of that error we were throwing on the stack. Although there's going to be elements in there that's probably still not right. So let's check this. Okay. So do uploaded by. So yeah, we're gonna have to go in and make sure all this is correct. So let's go ahead and knock this out real quick. Okay. And we need to make sure all this stuff is still set correctly. Should be. Make sure that's going to be our main problem here. Description needs to be set. And our hashtags. Let's see here. Hashtags. And then we need to. Okay, so that's still set. Good. All right, so the rest of it should be fine. Yeah, we're back down to 4 errors, so that should all be right now. I don't think I swapped that over, did I? Oh yeah, I did. Okay, good. Oops. All right, so we got that taken care of. That's good, and we obviously changed that collection around so it's not confusing for when we set up just the normal feed. All right, so where we want to go from here? Do we want to put the little button there? I don't think so. I don't want to mimic TikTok way too much. I mean, it's already pretty much like TikTok, but I don't really want to deal with that little follow button, because then we're gonna have to set up a stack and remove some stuff. So we're not gonna actually do that. The next thing that we want to work on then is, let's see, where do we want to go? I guess we can go ahead and finish out like these things on here so we can kind of wrap up this page. Excuse me. Okay, so let's grab here, make sure we're working in the right stack. So I'm actually gonna label that stack. Oh, okay. That's kind of weird. So I can identify it a little bit better. Sometimes if I'm working on a large project where it's relevant and necessary, I will apply custom names to a lot of this stuff so it's easily identifiable when I throw errors. Because if you have a stack trace error that pops up when you're trying to compile and run test mode, it'll tell you where you need to trace back to find what widget is causing the error. And if you have it custom labeled, it's a lot easier to identify it. So that can be helpful in that regard, but we're not going to do too much of that for this tutorial. I'm just labeling it mainly to keep these things kind of separate while I'm working within them. All right, so let's go ahead then and start here on our icon button. Obviously, you can see I'm not using a toggle. Primary reason for that is because I just want a solid icon. I don't really want to toggle between like a different icon and this icon. And so, I mean, I could still just have like a solid icon with the toggle button and just change its color that way. But really, you can do the exact same thing applying the color down here and just doing an if then else variable. So let's go ahead and add the action first. And so we'll just do the conditional, and we're going to go here. And we'll do the liked by users list. Oh yeah, that's right. We don't have access to our. Oh yeah, we do. Okay, good. That's curious. FlutterFlow must have changed that. Used to, you would have to have an auth page set up in order to actually have access to authenticated users. So they must have modified that. About time. So anyway, we're going to grab the user reference for that auth user if the liked by user list contains that user. And then we'll do an add action, and we're going to update our feed document. And we will update the, oops, wrong one, don't do that one, liked by users. And we'll remove them from set on this one. And then you just copy that and paste it and add to set. Terminate. Okay. And now let's go down here to our color scheme and do an if then else condition. So we're going to do our first one, go to our document here and grab the liked by users, and we're going to do list contains our auth user. So if our list does contain our auth user, then we're going to set the color to this, just like red. And if it does not contain our auth user, then we will keep it as white. And our default color will be white. Then for our likes count, grab our variable here. And our liked by users, number of items, number format, and compact. And then we'll set our default to 0. Maybe. Okay, and then for comment count, I'd mentioned this earlier in the last tutorial. that we are going to store our comment count as just an integer variable inside of our document, which would be this right here. We could store that, and honestly, this would actually be a better way to do this. Yeah, I'm backtracking. Apologize. Shouldn't do it that way. That's kind of a... It adds an extra step to do it that way. So let's go in here and delete comment count, and we're gonna have to go ahead and create our comments. So let's do video, image, comments. We're gonna have to go and create the sub collection for that so that we can utilize this correctly. And we're just gonna put a field in here real quick so that it's not tossing an error. Right, so we'll come back and fill out the rest of those fields here in a minute. Oh, and we need to actually go here. And let's do this. Let's do comment count now here. And we're actually going to do that as a document reference to our subcollection of comments, and obviously make it an array. Now we can grab that from here. And our default be 0. Okay. So now we can update that accordingly. All right, and then we need also need a share count. I don't think we even included that here. I don't believe, which that'll just be an integer, because that count will never go down. It's always just going to go up. So we can just do an integer for that, and then we can put that there. Which, by the way, if you're using Firebase, so something of interest that I found, and it's, I don't know if Google Firebase ever corrected this publicly, or if it just kind of magically happened. I don't really know, but I know that Firebase did away with deep linking, and that was last year sometime that they did that. It was like back in August or something, and they issued a notice to everybody that used Firebase. Got an email saying that they're doing away with deep linking, and that you would want to find like an alternate method by, I think it was like August 25th, because they're going to shut it down. It's not going to work anymore, and that was last year. Well, obviously everybody was trying to figure out how to fix that and get around it. And I was playing around with an app that I built prior to that, and I noticed like share functioning was still working. And so I kind of started looking into it to see what was going on, and the deep linking within Firebase, the dynamic deep linking, and they had changed their kill date from August 25th, 2023 to August 25th, or somewhere about that, in 2025. So like a whole nother year and a half. So I mean, it's deprecated, but it's still functional. So, you know, if you're trying to get your app out and the share functionality is like, it's hanging upon that share functionality using dynamic deep linking through Firebase, and you're trying to figure out how to mitigate that, well, you should still have access to it for at least another year and a half. So kind of good news to hear that. All right, so let's take a look here. I guess we need to make those adjustments then to the other feed real quick. So that's our discover. So let's collapse that, get that out of the way, and then go here. So we're just gonna kind of do the same thing, which I could just copy this over, but I'm not gonna take the time to do that. Just do it here real quick so you can watch again if you weren't entirely sure what I just did. That you can get a repeat of what I did. So I'll make those updates. Whoops. Getting ahead of myself. All right, and now let's go down here and take care of this real quick. Okay, and same thing, just keep rolling through all that. And share. Okay, that's good. All right, so that is good to go. So I think may want to build our, I guess let's go ahead and build our comments so we can get that out of the way. So let's go here and now I'm going to go component. Like I said, I'm going to use this just as a quick template, and we'll do like that. But I'm going to get rid of all that. Go ahead and expand it to the size of a phone screen and move this down here to the bottom. And then I want to set my height, probably do 50%, maybe. Let's do 60% so we have some room to work with. We can come back to it if we want to. Okay, so I'm gonna do something a little different. I had done the comments, a comment section before, which was ridiculously complex and how it was set up, confusing and everything like that. And I had explained it in one of my previous tutorials of how to get the thing set up and get it working. And unsurprisingly, there are quite a few people that are like, I have no idea what you did there and how to get it to work correctly, because it was just overly complicated and confusing. So I actually took some time to kind of streamline it, perfect it, and make it operate both more efficiently, but also be less confusing for setup. And so I finally got that taken care of. So we'll use the new method, and I think you'll find that it's a lot easier. So let's go ahead and just let's keep that organized, drop it into components here. And let's go back real quick so we can go ahead and get our data pushed. So grab your comment icon and widget and bottom sheet. And there's our comments. And we will enable drag, and we're going to pass a parameter so that we can reference the video feed. Oops. And do document reference to our video image posts. And we do want it to be required. And go ahead and pass that and grab it from right here and pass the reference. All right. And let's make sure we get it done on the other side as well. Should be here. Oh, this one I was just working in. collapse that. Collapse that. This one. Okay. Well, while I'm over here, let's just copy this real quick, so we don't have to repeat it. Let's click in here. Maybe that'll. Okay, I don't understand. Maybe it's the Discover tab that I need to be in. There we go. My goodness. And then we'll just paste that. But make sure you set your reference because it's not going to carry over here. All right. Now I got that taken care of. We're good to go there. So now we can go back up here. Start working within this. All right. So first thing that I want to do, and I'm trying to decide if I want to float this or if I want to use, I could use a column, but then we run into the risk of how it presents itself. Yeah, let's do it this way. So first thing, I'm going to drop a column in here, and I am going to bring it down from the top a little bit, and off of the side some. And then let's put a row in there, and then we'll do some text. And then we also need to reference our page level, our parameter, component parameter. It's being passed in whenever we tap the comment button. So let's go ahead and highlight our component. So this will be our parent, top level parent. And let's do document from reference. And it's going to be this one. And then you'll grab that parameter you're passing in here. That way we can access its data. And now we can I'm going to do a combine text and commenting on space. And then from this, we're going to need that users. We want to make this as efficient as possible. So obviously I can't get anything here other than document ID for the person that uploaded the video. What I could do is grab the reference to that user here, like this. I guess it really just depends on how we want to set this up. So I could do a reference and get the reference to that user and then go right here and do uploaded by, and then I could access that user's information. But referencing that, we're then going to have to query that, which is just, again, like an unnecessary step. So what, but then we run the risk of that not changing. And then we'd have to say, okay. So again, this is all about kind of optimizing your workflow and figuring out what's best, what works best, and everything. We could pass. You know what? Let's do that. Let's do it this way. I'm sorry, I keep jumping around. There's like 3 or 4 different ways we could do this. We could do the document reference, and we could get the user's reference that way. But that's gonna put another read against your sub collection. So that, you know, what's a read really? I mean, it's not a whole lot unless you have a million users doing a million reads every second, in which case it becomes quite a bit. So it's kind of an unnecessary callback. Alternatively, we could set it up so that every time somebody creates a post, you just have a field here that has user's name, and then you could pull it directly from the feed post and not have to run an extra query. But the problem with that is if the user ever changes their username, it's not going to update inside every one of the posts that they've ever made, unless you set up a cloud function to perform that task, in which case you could possibly be running a cloud function millions of times per user, millions of times a day per user for millions of users. So that's kind of not logical either. Could potentially run up the bill. So what we will actually do, let's go back here. And since we're grabbing that user's reference from our stack, then we can actually access it here in our comment. And what we're going to do is add another parameter. I'm going to call it create a ref so I know what I'm actually referencing here. And I'm going to actually pass a document reference, right? So this passes the information from the user's document, the creator of the video. It passes their document information to the component, so we can grab their information without having to make an additional query to the user. This can be useful for this particular case where you don't need to dynamically update the user's document inside the comments. So if you're just passing the document reference over, dynamically editing that is not the most efficient way. You would want to use a document reference. That way you can stream back data to the user's document, make changes to it or whatever. But essentially what this is doing is, because we've already queried the user inside of the video feed, to get the user references for their picture and things like that, then we can just take the query that we've already run in that reference and just pass essentially that user's documents information to the component, because all we need is their username or their display name to be able to put it on the comments component. And so this is the most efficient way to do this. So I'm just going to pass a document rather than a document reference and for the user. And then we'll pass, and we can grab that here. And we can grab it right here, top. And obviously we want to do the same over here for our other comment button, because we're now throwing an error, which we're actually, let's grab it over here. It'll be so much easier. User and their document. Okay, so now we can go back into our comments component and go to our text. And let's make sure we still got a space in here. So now we can do this. We got our creator ref document that's being passed in right here. So you can grab it, and then available options, you can now select get document property, and now you can grab the field here. Do display name. Like that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, it's the most efficient way to do that. So if again, because this isn't a stream back, if you're looking at their comments on their post and the user goes and makes a change to their profile or their user document in their collection, like changing their username, it's not going to update here unless you close the comments out and like refresh and pull it back up, then it'll make the change. But that's not really that big of a deal. I mean, do you really care to see them changing their display name in real time? Probably not. And this will save you having to make an additional query that's unnecessary. So, all right, leave that alone there. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to increase the size of this thing again, so I have more room to work with, and we can size it around as we need to. So I'm actually going to jump that up to 80% so I can work with this thing. Make sure that's set up correctly here. Okay. All right, so now we need to start our top level comment feed here. So let's, how did I want to do this? I wanted to do it with a column instead of doing a stack. So what we want to do then, let's make sure this comes out correctly. Let's just go ahead and do a container. And we're going to drop that down some from the top, and we'll do the width at infinite, and then we can adjust this down, which I'm actually going to do this as a percentage. I'll do it like that for now. And let's so that we can see our container. Let's give it some elevation. We'll remove that here in a minute, but let's just have that there so we can use it as a reference point. And then we're going to go ahead and drop a list view in there. And the reason we did the container, if you're not aware of why I did that, if you're new here, by putting that container there and then dropping the list view into it, we can now scroll the list view independently of the rest of this component. Whereas if we just dropped the list view directly into the column, then the entire column would scroll, which would mean that this up here would disappear out of view as you're scrolling down. And we would have to then actually use a stack for our comment field so that it stays at the bottom, which is one way we could do it for sure. But I've been kind of experimenting with this method because I think it works a little better. So I want just my comments to scroll. I want this to stay fixed here, and I want my comment field to stay fixed at the bottom. I want just the comments to scroll. So that's why I put the list view inside a container. So we could do it like that. So let's go down here, scroll all the way down, make sure that's set to primary, obviously. And then your column, make sure your column is not scrollable so that you don't run into any sort of conflicts there. All right, so now highlight your container that's containing that. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the elevation. We don't need that unless you, obviously, if you want it, you can have it, but I don't want it, so I'm gonna do it that way. And then down here, the bottom, let's go ahead and we're gonna drop another container in here. We're actually going to have our, so grab your entire column here and let's align it to the bottom. We'll kind of show you what we're gonna do there. Let's change the color of this so we can see it. And you can go ahead and extend its width all the way out there. So highlight your column again and let's get it up off the bottom. Like 20, whatever you want to do. You have to play around and see what works best for you, but just kind of shift all that upward. And I'm now going to make this a little bit bigger. Do like 65, maybe 60. 65 seems a little big. Okay, so I made our container that's containing our list view at now 60% of the screen. And then I'm going to pad the bottom of the container by like 12 to get it up off the bottom there. Which we are throwing down here. Getting some, let's see here. It's just a little too big. So I can actually decrease that, which we're not going to actually leave this container as a fixed height. We're going to have it as a variable, but I just need it like that for now while I'm playing with this thing. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and put some information in here. So I think let's start with a container for our comment, for our individual comment here. And let's do column. And we're gonna have it over there to the left. And then let's do a row and another column, or I'm sorry, before we do that, let's go ahead and put this in here so it's not a challenge to work with. So go ahead and put a round image and make it smaller, obviously. 45 would probably be good. And now let's put a column next to that and pad it by 6. Make sure the alignment of that column is to the left. You can use rows if you want to, or you can just put it directly in there. I like to use rows because it just kind of keeps it organized. And then highlight that row and duplicate. And then let's size this down to 12. And we'll come back and fill in all these details once we get everything kind of set up here. All right. Now let's do another row. underneath it in the column, and let's drop that down by like 4. And then let's do another text, and let's expand it all the way so that it'll wrap as it goes down. And we can bring that in if we want to, but I think I'm just going to leave it there. And then let's do another row. And then this row, let's just space it out some. Let's do like 8. That'll be good. And then inside of that row, let's do another row. And let's do some text inside of that row, and maybe an icon, and then highlight that row and duplicate it, and then grab your parent row and go down here, and we're going to do space between. So we want to do end to end so that these things are separate all the way side to side here. And I actually want this icon to be, come on now, on the other side like that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, looks good. All right, so now let's grab our container, our parent that's containing all of this, and go down here to height and get rid of your variable in there, set it to 0, so that our container is flexible. It can grow, so it can expand, get bigger or smaller, depending on the content that's inside of it. That way you're not at a fixed height setting for that at all. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see here. We want to need to get this. So highlight your parent row for these rows here, and let's set a bottom padding of 12 so that we have something to kind of work with here. That way our column is extended down some. We can work inside of that. Let's go ahead and run our list view query. So that's going to be query collection, and then we will query our video image comments, and then our video image posts parent we'll do from variable, and obviously the parent is the vid image reference to that post that we're passing in. It's going to be the parent of this sub collection. And I'm just going to set this 100 for now, and we want to order by date is decreasing, so we need to go in and fill in some of that data, obviously. And also grab your parent container for your comment and add some bottom padding, which you could also, if you wanted to. Actually, let's keep it clean. So let's actually go to our list view and do our item spacing here. Do 8. Okay, that'll work. All right, so now we do need to go in here and add some information in here. So let's do by reference. It'll be the user that makes the comment, so obviously a document reference. Comment text, restring. Do liked by users for the comments, document reference, users, and list. And we'll just leave it at that for now. Okay, so let's go in here and let's grab this row. We don't need to apply this to everything. We just want to apply it to this row, and let's do a document reference. And let's apply that to users, and then we want to grab our comments right here. Don't grab that one because that's for your post. Get it for your comments. And grab posted by. So now we can set the user's photo. Oops, wrong button. Grab the user's document here and set the photo. Just set that variable back. And we set their username or display name, whatever you want to have here. And then in this little field, we're actually going to have like the date of the comments. Comments, go to the date field, time format, and we're going to do relative and abbreviated relative. And then this text is obviously the comment itself, comment text. Okay. I think just to add a little bit of definition, I'm going to grab the parent container and elevate it just slightly, just by 1. So it gives us kind of like this underline, just create some separation between them. And then over here is going to be our likes. So we're going to go here, comments, and liked by list contain, or not list contains, I'm sorry, number of items. Format be compact and 0. And then we will set this to like a heart icon or something. And we do want to pad just slightly, like 2. And I actually kind of want to bring this in off the edge a little bit. So I'm going to just grab this row and do like 8 and get it in just a little bit there. And now we can set an action on here, be conditional, and go to our comments, liked by users, list contains item, and that'll be our auth user. Update, comment, grab the reference, and liked by users, remove from set, repetitive, and then copy it and paste it and change that to add to set. So it's good to go there. And then the color of the icon, we do want to change that to a conditional variable. Comments, liked by users, list contains, auth, reference. We'll set the color to red or white, and default variable will be white. Which you can't really see that. That's right. That's right, our background is white. That won't work. Sorry. So let's actually set this, I guess, black. Or maybe like a gray. And a lighter black color. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do it. Okay, cool. Now in here is where we need to start working with our sub comments, which, to my knowledge, I don't think FlutterFlow, I still don't think they support 3rd level or 2nd level sub collections. I think that yeah, they don't. So you can only do 1 sub collection deep inside of FlutterFlow. In Firebase or in Firestore, you can actually go several sub collections deep. So a sub collection to a sub collection, which can be useful if you're doing what we're about to do for like sub comments of a comment. So nested comments inside of a comment. So doing a 2nd level sub collection inside of the comment could be very useful. I would advise being very careful if you decide to go in directly into Firebase and work within doing multi-level nesting of sub-collections and map them inside your FlutterFlow project. If you want to do it that way, just be very conscientious of how deep you're running your sub-collections. One thing about Firestore is it's because of the way that the NoSQL and the structuring of data, and the fact that it relies heavily upon indexing to be able to make accurate and fast queries, if you nest sub-collections too deep, you could run into bad queries, extremely slow queries, would be probably your biggest issue. But you would have to properly manage your indexes to make sure that you're making those queries as efficiently as possible. So my advice would be to never go more than like a second level subcollection, maybe a third level if it's absolutely necessary, and that third level isn't being queried a lot, or it's not containing a lot of data. Maybe something that's specific to the user, or like a archive type thing, an archive subcollection of things that don't need to be queried frequently. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't go more than 2 deep. If you're new, I would just stick within FlutterFlow and not even go too deep. Just keep it at a single subcollection. And what you can actually do is, if you want to have a separate subcollection under your feed, under your video image post, for your sub comments, your reply to comments, you can just reference this your top level comment to your sub comment. So it's not a big deal, and it works reasonably well for what we're doing, and that's probably the way that I would suggest doing it. We could alternatively add some fields into this collection here, or in this sub collection of comments. We could add a field in here to determine whether this is a top level comment or a sub comment. But I think for organization's sake, because then you would have your top level comment and secondary level comments all within a single collection. For organization's sake, we'll actually have a separate sub collection. So what you can do is just go ahead and duplicate this. You do want it to be a sub collection, obviously, of your video image posts, top level. And then I'm going to do it like reply to comments. All right, but obviously we need to make a reference point to our top level comment here. So let's do top level comment ref document reference, and then we'll do that to our video image comments like that. So that way we know what we're referencing here. Okay. You could also keep a list if you wanted to, but we'll just keep it like that for now. Okay, so next thing that we need to take care of then is we want to go ahead and deal with our sub-level comments. Like I said, I worked with this a little bit to kind of figure out a better way to handle this so it's not quite as confusing. So this will be a little bit easier to work with. So let's go ahead and create another component. Again, we'll just use this and grab a quick template, and then we'll call it reply to comments. Get rid of that, and I'm going to do this and put this sucker down in the middle. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, just something I do to work with it. And I'm going to get rid of all of the different parameters that's set to it. So I'm just working with this, essentially this bottom sheet container here. All right, now first thing we want to do is we do want to set some page level or component level parameters. First one that we're going to do is, let's do top level comment reference. And we'll do a document reference, and we'll do that to our video image comments right here. And then we're going to do the vid image post reference as the parent reference, because we will need it. And that'll be this one here. All right. Now let's see here. Let's go ahead. I could copy over. Let's do that real quick. Let's just go back over here to our main level comments, and just grab this list view and copy it. Come back over here and paste it. And we might make this, let's make this container a little bit bigger. Let's have like 3 comments, just about 3 comments showing here. All right, I'm going to grab the list view. Let's go ahead and set this to the correct query. So this is actually going to be querying to the reply to comments. And then we need to get the parent, which is actually the post. Again, it's not the top level comment, it's going to be the post itself, which will be this parameter that we set. And let's make sure this stuff is all set correctly here. Reply to comments, it's right. I am going to make the images for these smaller. I'm just going to go like that. Actually, let's do 40. Instead of 35, we'll do 40. And display name should be set. Okay, but we do need to set the date. Oh, never mind, it's already set. Good. So that's set. Let's make sure this is set. Apply to comments set correctly. Okay. Now let's reduce that. Let's actually go to 0 on that. And we're going to get rid of this. We don't need that. As a matter of fact, we're not even going to have likes on this. It's just going to be a comment. But we do want to, let's grab this row and just add a little bit of padding, maybe like 4 from the bottom. Okay, so that kind of changed the dynamic of stuff, so we can actually make this a little smaller now. All right, so let's put that in our folder. And let's go back here and let's highlight our column and go over here and add into our column that component that we just created, reply to comments. And we're gonna pad the outside, left outside by 20, and right by 8 maybe. All right, and let's go back to our collection and go to our top level comment, and let's add a visibility. So we're going to do reply to is visible, and we'll set that as a bool. And now let's go ahead and apply that to our conditional visibility here. And obviously we're going to grab our top level comment that it's sitting nested in and reply to is visible. Now you can see it, turn that on and off. All right. And obviously we also need to set the parameters that we're passing in. So you can come down here, you can see the top level comment reference. So that's going to be the comment that it's nested inside of. So grab that reference. And then the parent, the actual post, which we can grab that here if we want to. We can grab it here. I'm going to actually grab it from the parent reference here. Doesn't really matter how you do that, but just keep it consistent. I'm going to switch that on. Okay, so that's set up now. So this little button thing here, what we're going to do with this, let's see. We want to keep track. How do I want to do this? Yeah, trying to decide how I want to. Let's go back here. make a list. Like I mentioned, reply to comments count. And we're going to do document reference to our reply to comments, make a list. And this is up to you how you want to define all this. You can set it up however you want. Just kind of playing around with things here. And then I'm going to do combine text. And reply to comments, and then I'm going to go here to comments, and I'm going to grab reply to comments count, number of items. So you just kind of show how many comments are already, how many reply to comments are already there. And let's see, let's make this a little smaller. We can go to, that's way too small. What is this? Is this 14? Yeah. Yeah, it's a little small. So I guess let's just leave that at 14. That'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, set that up however you want. And then this, what's going on here? Go down here. And I'm going to make this like a arrow, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just make it smaller. But I don't think we'll need any padding. All right. And then let's highlight that. Let's add, which ideally, really, we should probably use a container here. That would probably be best, so we can more accurately capture the action, especially people with smaller phones or bigger fingers. Make this a little bit easier. So let's grab this row containing this and drop it into that container I just put there. Obviously, we're going to have to extend that container out. Get a hold of it here. Pull that out so you're not having any overlap problems there. All right, and then let's get rid of that action on the text, and let's actually apply the action to the container that's holding all of this stuff. And that way, if they tap the text or they tap the little icon, whatever, it'll capture our action that we're wanting to imply here. And then we're going to update our comments. And we're going to do reply, we're going to do reply to is visible and set it to true, although we need to, if we want to collapse that, if you want to be able to open and collapse it dynamically, then you need to go in here and set a conditional, go to comments, is visible, and paste that. Actually set this one to false, and then set this one to true. Okay. And then I think I might apply some like that. That'll be good. What's this currently set to here? That medium as well. Okay, cool. I'll even pull that in a little bit. Sweet, that works. Okay, so now we need to go down here and work with our container down here. So let's go ahead and add a row. Where am I going? Just do a row. And yeah, just leave it like that for now. And let's go down and grab text field. And I'm going to go ahead and set this container to transparent. I know what I'm working with in here. And we want to go down. Let's go down here and get rid of that and that. I'm going to outline and I'm going to fill. And that'll be okay. And let's go back down here and turn autofocus off. And set higher border radius. We're going to get rid of label, and I'm just going to set this as a placeholder for now. And then let's go ahead and drop a let's see, an icon button over here on the right. Clear the color on that, clear the color on that. And then let's grab our row here. Let's pad that maybe by 10 from the right and 10 from the left. And we're going to change this to like a send icon or something. Okay. All right, and then our container, let's go ahead and get rid of that. So you want to have a dynamic height there. So just reduce that down to 0. And then for our text field, we're going to have max lines set to, I don't know, let's do 3. Kind of see how that looks. Looks good. But then we want to set our min line to 1. That way it's collapsed. Okay, cool. That'll work. All right. So let's see here. What do we want to do next? Let's go over here into our collection and go to the comments. And let's do reply. Well, yeah. Reply to user reference. Whoops. I'm going to do document reference and user. And what else do I want to do here? Okay. That'll be fine. I'm trying to decide just how I want to set this. Don't know. It's debatable. The other option is to have like a reply field at the bottom here. But the issue we'd run into then is if there's a whole bunch of comments. Although we could stack it. That's a possibility. I don't know. What do you think? Let's do this first. Okay, so let's do some local component parameters here, and so we're going to do reply to, dang it, username. Do that as a string and make it nullable, and then we're going to do reply to ref document reference and users. Okay. And then I'm going to, I want to do this. Let's see here. I don't want the whole thing. Just grab the row up here. And then we want to set an action. action we want to do, I'm going to do it on long press. And then we're going to do state management and update component state. We'll set the value to the user display name. Actually, let's do, where is it? Let's do combined text. Do it like this. And then set the value to their display name. And then add the other field, and obviously we want to set a reference to that user. Okay. And then down here in our hint, let's do if then else. So we'll do if component state, if let's do if username is set not empty. Then we're going to have this pre-filled with component apply to username. Otherwise, we're going to do let's do that. Okay. So now when they press and hold on here, if they want to reply to someone specifically, then I'll tag them here in this field. So that might be maybe that's how we should get our sublevel. That might make the most sense. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense. We'll do it that way. So we can apply it here as well if you want to. Really up to you. So sort of reinventing the wheel on this. Let's do that. False. Let's paste that action in there. And we're going to set this to non-blocking. Apply to username, so we need to grab that from here. Ah, that's right. That's right, we're not getting the user's information in that field. Okay, shoot. So, how do I want to do that? I could just go ahead and, instead of just using the row, I could apply it to everything if I wanted to. Probably be the simplest. So let's get rid of this on the row and let's just apply it to the entire column. Document from reference, be user, and we'll just grab that again here, posted by. Now we can utilize it in here. Now you will have to go back in and set this stuff because it's going to be gone. So just go back in and fix that. And the username. And then this row, I'll have to set that again as well. So at username, we'll grab that. And then user reference here. Okay. And here, let's go ahead and do it. Action here. So now we can update component state, and we'll have access to the user and a reference. Go up here like that. Oh, that's right, I'm non-blocking, so I'm gonna leave it there. It don't really matter. Actually, I'm gonna put that up top, and let's shut that off. And then let's copy this and put it here. And we'll let's make it clear the value. Let's collapse that. Okay. All right, that'll work. And then let's go ahead and set our action here for posting the comment. So we do need a conditional first, and that conditional is going to be component state. So if reply to username is set, then we are going to create a reply to comment. We do need to grab the video image post as the parent. And don't really, well, we're gonna have to update it anyway. So let's go ahead and set the date field. We'll do posted by as the auth user. And comment text will be from our text field. Creating the right thing here. Reply to, yeah, okay. So we're not going to have that. And then the top level comment reference. We're not passing that. So we need to set that. Yeah, we're going to have to set that as a component state. Okay. So we do want to set that as a component state variable as well. And obviously, let's go ahead and get that taken care of in here. Row. We'll set the value here to reference our top level comment. So we have that reference point. Yeah. All right. So we do want to do that. Okay. And then in here, container, update the component state, add that as well here. And then let's reset the value here. All right, now we should be able to grab the reference point down here where we need it. Okay, so create the document. We've got that taken care of. Top level comment reference. And we can grab that from our component state now. And since we're doing it this way, we actually don't need the reply to reference here. I'm gonna have it in here instead. And let's see. Let's do, no, we won't set anything else there. All right, and let's go back here and get this finalized. So we need to set this to reply to user reference. In our component state, reply to reference there. And I think, it doesn't really matter since we're keeping it as a sublevel. It's kind of irrelevant. All right, and then let's do new reply to comment as our action output. And we actually want to do, let's do tag instead. And let's update our top level comment there. which will be here, top level comment. And reply to comments. So we're going to add to set. And we're going to go down to here to our action output, the reply to comment we just created, and grab its reference point and add it to that set. All right, and then we can add one more action widget, and we will clear the text field. And then when we set up push notifications, we could actually set this to send that user who was tagged a push notification if you want to. And then I'm just going to put this over here like this. So if that is empty, obviously this is not a reply to, so it's not going to create a sublevel or a reply to. It's going to create an actual comment. So we want to do it here. That. So let's get this all set up, make sure it's all configured correctly. So we're going to be creating a top level comment. And reply to is not a reply to, so this is new top level comment. And then we want to update, let's see here, we want to update the video post itself. Let's grab the reference to the video post, and we want to set comment count, and we're going to add the set. And we need to grab our action output from that, so our new top level comment, we'll grab a reference, we'll add that to our video feed document, and then we can still clear the text field, terminate, and terminate. All right, that should be good. Although we need to take care of something here. We need to set state management, and we do need to update component state, reset value, and reset value. Cool, that'll work. All right. So now we've got all that in there. So obviously, if this is not expanded, it'll be visible. And there we go. Good to go. So now that we've got all that set, let's go ahead and kind of drop this down some. It's going to cause problems. Do it at 75. Could do it dynamically. That's probably not really what I want. Guess I could pass the height from the other side though. No, let's do a 75, be alright. Oh, and well, no, that's how we want it. Okay. That is how we want it. Oh, I want it this tall though. Make that smaller. There we go. Yeah, let's just do it like that. That way it's not taking up so much of the screen. All right, cool. Okay, so that's set up. So that's what we want for comments, and so we can just kind of leave that alone for now. Make some fine-tuning adjustments at some point, but for the time being, that'll work. And so we can go back here. Alrighty. So next thing, what are we looking at on time? We're getting along on this one, I do believe. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up on this one. And so the next one we will take a look. We'll start setting up, I guess, some user profiles. Work through that. We've got a good baseline on the home page, so we'll work from the right to the left of the nav bar. So we'll go with user profile, then we'll go to the feed and the chat, and then we'll start kind of tying things together. Once we get all that settled, then we'll really start digging into the custom coding and back-end infrastructure and all that good stuff. All right, we'll see all of you next time.